You're listening to Behind the Music Podcast, a podcast that features the best musicians in Southern gospel music, with your host, Josh Griffin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 12 of Behind the Music Podcast. This is actually a continuance of episode 1 we did way back in August of 2024, I believe, and we already made it to episode 12, and I thank everybody for listening. Thank everybody that's been a guest on here, been very cooperative to help me do this, but we got none other than Mr. Adam Borden back with us. Thank you, Adam, for being here, sir.
Back on the bass guitar, young man. He's been with Gold City several years now. Does a super job, one of the finest Christian young men that I know, and he can just play the stew out of that bass guitar. Y'all make him welcome Adam Borden. Young man.
Hey, Josh, great to be on here. I appreciate the return invitation.
Yeah. Being my crazy self, like I was telling Adam a while ago before we started recording, I forgot to get Adam to tell about his bass gear when he toured with Gold City, and also now when he's touring with his family and touring with Old Time Preachers Quartet. But Adam, let's start off your earlier days and also Singing Ambassadors. Excuse me, when you started off with Singing Ambassadors, what bass guitar and amp did you play with? Yes, sir.
I started out, I had my dad's 1969 P bass. I got a picture here of it. Thumbnail there. But it's a 1969 Sunburst P bass. It's had I've put a couple of different sets of pickups in it over the years. Right now it's got Lawler pickups in it, and it's all original frets and rusty tuning keys, and it still sounds amazing.
That's right.
So to be that old, it's been a good one. And I had before I joined the Singing Ambassadors in like 1991. I'd played with a little scrap iron quartet of guys that my sister went to school with, and I'd bought a red metallic finish PV Dynabass. And the neck was real thin like a jazz. But it was not a bolt-on. It was a neck-through body, and it had gold hardware. It looked like a rocket ship. And I thought it sounded pretty good, but, some people didn't. So I went with the Singing Ambassadors. I played my P bass for a while. Mike Faust, who was the tenor, he had a 74 Jazz.
Okay.
Brown with a black pick guard, and he would let me play that one every once in a while. But then I was telling you earlier that I had my mind on a 5-string.
Yeah.
And Mark Fain was playing Padula basses. He had a green Padula bass. Tim Surratt had a black Padula bass. Aubrey Stevens that was playing with, at that time, Perfect Heart. He had one just like that. Dean Hopper had a Padula. A lot of guys, Taylor Barnes had a Padula later on. Yeah. And so there was a lot of those basses out there. So I went to Rhythm City and spent all my money and bought this bass that I played with Gold City over the years. It's been my main bass.
That's right.
So it's a 1991. Yeah. So I can show you if you want me to, like we did a while ago, kind of some of the.
Yes. Yeah, if you don't mind. Yeah.
So Michael V. Padula, his basses are MVPs, and he made some different models, but this is kind of his signature style and body style, still to this day, to the last basses he built. And this is AAA flame maple, and it is a neck through body, and quarter sawn maple in the neck there with a seam in the middle. It's got a dual action truss rod. It's got Bartolini pickups and electronics. Got the brass bridge. It's got a little fleek in it there where I was changing strings out, and the A string clipped it right there and knocked a little fleek out of that gold. Right. But the brass polishes up okay. So anyway, and you want me to tell that story about Seminole, Oklahoma?
Yes, please do. Yeah.
So on the back side here, you see all that checking right there. It's fleeked off and it crackled right there. Well, we used to do Seminole, Oklahoma every summer. Us and the Kingsmen and some other groups. And the Kingsmen were on before us, I think. We might have gone on first. I can't remember. We swapped up. We take turns.
Yeah.
And I took my bass off the bus, which was cold. It was 104 degrees in Seminole at night. And so I went and put it on and played the set, and I sweat. I mean, I was drenched in sweat. And when I got back to the bus, I went to pack it up and put it in my gig bag, which I still have right over there, a Meridian gig bag that I've had since 1991.
Ah, yeah.
You know, the zippers are still in perfect shape, no tears. That's a great gig bag.
Yeah.
Anyway, it had crackled up like you poured hot sweet tea over ice cubes, crackled. So over the years, that finish is kind of fleeked off and stuff. And so, oh, well, it is what it is. But it's got the wood cut out. It's active electronics. There's a battery in there and electronics. It's shielded and all. But still, still working good.
That's
Everything
right.
still works. No noise. It's just a very, very well built bass.
Now, is that the original knobs on it as well?
It is,
because I see one looks different.
The volume knob is the black
Yes.
from my finger sweat has come off, but the other two are still good and black.
Okay, yeah.
But that knob gets used the
Goodness.
most, so all that black has faded off of that
That's right.
volume knob over the years.
Yeah.
But it's just a tremendous bass. I mean, very low action, very thin neck.
Yes.
And if there is a drawback to these,
Mm-hmm.
it is that thin neck. Now, it plays, 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is very sensitive to weather changes.
Gotcha.
Hot to cold, humidity.
Yep.
I have watched this bass. If we play the outdoor thing, I've watched the neck go, on back.
Yeah.
Now, literally one time we played in Winston County, Alabama. And actually, I was playing with the Singing Ambassadors.
Yeah.
And we were playing with Gold City at this amphitheater in Winston County, Alabama.
Uh-huh.
And I had the tool, the Padula tool, just on the truss rod because it was pulling back. It was pulling. It got so cold, it was pulling the neck back, and I would have to crank it a little bit.
That's right.
On the fly during the set to get it to where it wouldn't make fret noise.
Right.
Crazy. But that's the only drawback to this bass, I would say.
You are here. I want to take just a quick minute and introduce these young men that play the instruments. They're great, and we appreciate them so much. A young man on the keyboards from Dalton, Georgia. There's none better anywhere, folks, than Mr. Channing Ellerton. Would you make him welcome tonight? Back on the bass guitar, young man from Boaz, Alabama, right on top of Sand Mountain. Been with Gold City about 8 years now. Just gets better all the time. His name's Adam. Make Adam welcome. Adam Borden. And back on the drums, a young man working on his 15th year with Gold City. Does a great job on the drums and with the band. Does a super job with his songwriting and arranged and helped produce this brand new album, and I'm mighty proud of him. This is my oldest son, Doug Riley. Make Doug welcome if you would. Now, these boys have just learned a brand new song. Would you like to hear them? Shuck one down for you. They're going to shuck it down the cob. You want to hear them? I'm not going to let them play. Let them know you want to hear it. excited for the man to go. Aren't they great?
Yeah.
But anyway.
And I've done that a couple times with my bases, kind of adjust the action just a little bit, and I'm always like, just be extra careful, don't do too much now.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be very careful with that.
Oh goodness!
Sure enough, you got to be very careful.
Well, that bass there, what gauge strings do you run? Do you remember or no?
These are Elixir Nano Webs.
Yeah.
And the B string is a 130.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of light. It's 45, 65, 85, 105.
Yep.
And 130.
Yep. Okay.
Before Elixirs,
Mm-hmm.
I tried all kind of strings.
Yeah.
Before I ever got on with Gold City, I was using good old GHS bass boomers.
Yeah, my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were cheaper, but they were kind of, okay quality and stuff.
Right.
But my sweat is so acidic. It's like a 9-volt battery, and I just eat up uncoated strings like crazy.
Right. That's
So
right.
when I got that job with Gold City, that gig with Gold City, I started buying more expensive strings. I tried Ernie balls, Slinkies,
Yeah.
and I would try a set that would be lighter, like 40 to 100.
Oh, yeah.
And then I would go to Nashville to Corner Music Store when it was on 16th Avenue or 12th Avenue up there near Belmont. And they sold R Coco strings. I don't know if they still make them or not. That was the finest, still to this day, the finest bass guitar strings I ever played.
Oh, yeah.
But they were not coated, and they had some custom gauges and stuff. And I liked the 45 G string, but they had a custom hybrid set that was 45 on the top and 100 gauge on the E string.
Yeah. Okay.
And then like 128 or 125. It was kind of lighter on the low strings and heavier on the high strings.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I really liked those gauges. And so,
right.
but then I moved to, I tried Dean Markley's for a while. They had this Dean Markley blue steels.
Yeah.
And I would break those strings. I had a string break at Quartet Convention and sound check.
Huh.
And if it had happened, a few hours later on stage, I'd have been scrambling. But so I quit using those. And as soon as Elixirs came out, they had the poly webs, which was a thicker coating. They still do.
Okay. Yeah.
But I played those because I could play them for months.
Yeah.
Instead of regular strings. I was of the generation that boiled our bass guitar strings.
Yeah. I haven't tried
boil-
that. I've seen videos, but I have not tried that yet.
It works for about 2 boils, and then they'll break them.
Huh.
They'll break them. But gunk would come out of there. It looked like some sort of parasitical thing. I don't know, but I would boil the bass strings, put a little vinegar in there, and
That's right.
and they last, another week or two. And I'd boil them one more time. They'd last another week or two, and then they'd break, I'd have to put into the cell.
Goodness.
So, but anyway, that was, and then once I went to Elixir, that's all I've ever played since then.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And Nano Webs.
Yeah.
But that's that bass. That's that one. So.
Speaking of 5-string, got one. It's been about a month or two back. Ibanez SR 405.
I saw a picture of that.
Yeah, surprisingly, the neck on it. I've made a mistake a couple of times. Skipping a string and not. But I've gotten used to it, playing it more, and neck plays real good. It's not too wide. String space is not too bad either. So
like an Ibanez,
I've liked it.
Most Ibanez typically they've got a narrower string.
Okay. But it's been pretty easy to play so far. I mean,
that's cool.
I've been trying to get used to it more, just to broaden that sound a little bit too as well.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's very cool. I'd be interested to know I was going to ask you what you think about it. I had
so
played.
So far I like it pretty good. Yeah, real good.
You need to send me the specs on that because I've got a young bass player that won't get an Ibanez.
That's right.
Because he's got smaller hands.
Yes, yeah.
And but he wants a 5-string. So shoot me the info on that.
I will.
That's the long name. So anyway,
it's not as heavy either. That's what I like. I had a Squire Classic Vibes 5-string. That thing was just so heavy. I said, if I'm gonna play this live, I need something lighter.
Those Fender 5-strings are a boat anchor. They're pretty.
That's right. Yeah,
they're pretty beefy.
That's right.
So I don't know what you want to do next, but I could kind of go through.
Go ahead.
After that.
That's right. Yeah.
Tim was never a fan of 5-string basses. Tim Riley.
Yeah.
And he didn't like, Mark Fain bought a before I joined. He had a Modulus Quantum 5 that had a Bubingo wood top. Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And graphite neck 5-string. Tim Riley hated that bass because those low notes. And it kind of gets in the way. You learn how to work with a bass singer when you're a bass player, because if you don't, you won't be working with them at all. So
gotcha.
I went, and when I joined Gold City, first thing Tim said was 5-string. You got to have a 5-string. Everybody's got to have a 5-string. Anyway, so I played them for the first year or two. I couldn't afford to buy another bass. And so year and a half in, I think, first year in, we were cutting tracks for Preparing the Way record when it had Still the Cross on it.
Yes. And
some of those songs, it's Jonathan Wilburn's first record.
Okay.
And we were cutting tracks at Great Circle Sound in Nashville, north part of Nashville there. It's not there anymore. But that was where Sandy Patty Records and Larnell Harris and Carmen, all the Benson artists, Larry Goss did records there. It was a fantastic, had a 9-foot grand, huge room, tremendous, gear.
Right.
And we were up there cutting tracks, and Craig Nelson, no, I take that back. Gary Lund was playing bass on that record. And so I was telling him, I said, man, I need to get me a 4-string. He said, you need to go to Corner and check out. They've got some stuff there, which I knew that. But he said, they've got some pretty interesting stuff in there right now. So I went in and I had my money ready.
Yeah.
And I bought the Modulus, Jazz, which is, let's see here. That was this bass right here.
Yes.
That was not a stock model. You see how high I'm wearing that doggone bass? I mean, good Lord, it's almost a necklace.
I can't say that mine's about the same height now. It's just comfortable, yeah.
That's all James Freese's fault. James Gordon Freese with the hemp heels, he wore his up underneath his armpit. He still does. But anyway, so I went into Corner, and a bass collector had actually ordered this custom from Modulus. The thing about Modulus basses, if people don't know, they have graphite necks instead of wood necks.
Oh. Okay.
So they're very, very stable. You never have to adjust them. They're set and they don't move unless you put it in an oven.
Right.
But
be able to do that. I want to very quickly introduce these young men that do such a great job backing us up in music. It's so easy with all that good playing back there, sort of just lean back on them a little bit and let them do it, and they can do it. The young man on the keyboards, there's not any better anywhere. He's from Dalton, Georgia. Y'all make Ellerton welcome, would you? Back on the bass guitar, young man, he's been with Gold City several years now. Does a super job, one of the finest Christian young men that I know, and he can just play the stew out of that bass guitar. Y'all make him welcome, Adam Borden. Young man back here that's been with Gold City about 10 years, does a super job not only on the drums, he's a great songwriter. The last 2 songs we sang for you are songs that he's written. I've known him all of his life, mighty proud of him. This is my oldest son, Doug Riley. Would you make Doug welcome tonight? Now, I hope I'm not wrong with this, but I think they've got a little tune put together to play for. Would you like to hear them play one? I mean, they can shuck it. All right. Oh, praise the Lord.
This had a ash body and a quilted maple top
Gotcha.
with
Yeah.
what they call a cherry burst finish.
Uh-huh.
And they usually put Bartolini's systems in their basses, but this was an EMG. Those were
Yep.
EMG pickups,
Yep.
and they were sharp as a razor, son. I mean, that thing would growl. And it was beautiful. It
Yeah.
had gold hardware and played like a dream. And I played that bass a lot. That bass is on Live at Thomas Road
Uh-huh.
video. It's on one of the early videos that had I'm Not Giving Up with David Hill.
And I
That
think
first one.
also on the 20th anniversary stuff, the 2 videos.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the other one. Me and
That's
Channing and Doug.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's where this picture came from.
Okay. Yeah.
And so anyway, that was a mainstream. Now that bass, I put a hip shot
Mhm.
D tuner on it.
Yep.
Because we had some songs. He lives forevermore. That song is in A.
Okay.
No, it's
Yeah.
in D.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, I didn't have that low D, so I
Right.
could tune that down to that low D, and I played open D
Yes.
in the key of D.
Yeah.
And so that was a great bass.
Right.
And so I don't have that one anymore. I
Yeah.
sold that. So I
Yeah.
played that bass for a lot of years, and then I don't have a picture of it. I looked and looked and looked, and I don't have a picture of it, but I did play. I had a fretless bass
Yeah.
in the early '90s. That would have been 96 or 97, right through there, 97, 98. And I played a Kubiki, a bright canary yellow Kubiki X Factor bass.
Yes.
Now, most people have never heard of that, but that's the bass that is on the Live from Belfast, Northern
Yes.
Ireland record.
That's right. And it's headless, too,
headless.
correct? Yeah. Yeah.
And it opens up to a low D on the low string,
Yeah.
and the string winders are on the bridge.
That's right.
It had an 18-volt, two battery system active preamp.
Yeah.
This was actually the bass player at that church in Belfast. That was his bass.
Oh, gotcha.
and we couldn't carry a bunch of stuff over. So I took my strap, my guitar cord, new set of strings, and a little tool pack with me.
Yeah.
And I used his bass, and it was awesome.
That's right.
It was a great bass. And so Rory Rigdon actually has one just like it.
Really? Okay.
That when he played bass with the Kingsmen.
Yeah.
His is signed on the back of the headstock by Victor Wooten.
Oh.
And I've asked him every time I've ever seen him, when you going to sell me that bass? He will not sell it.
Yeah.
So, but I bought a yellow. I had a guy named Eddie Howard. He owned Makeda Records, and he's the one that recorded the Roots back in the day. He recorded those records. He was kind of developmental producer, record label, and he recorded Angels in the Room.
Yes.
And that original thing there. And so he Danny Crawford, keyboard player, buddy of mine, he was getting me in different places. And over here close, probably an hour and 15 minutes where I live now, he was over in Easley, South Carolina, Liberty, Easley, right through there.
Yeah.
And, or Anderson maybe. No, Easley or Liberty. And so Eddie Howard called me. Eddie Howard's brother, Joe Howard, is a great drummer. So Eddie called, said, man, Danny Crawford recommends you. I've been seeing you on the road. Go see blah, blah. Said, I got this record. This new guy, his name is Michael Lord, who went on to have Lord songs several years.
Yes, that's right.
Anyhow, he said, I got this new guy. He said, by the way, he said, you play fretless bass? And I went, yeah. And I had played fretless bass one time.
Yeah.
When I was in college, I had a music production class, and the teacher had a fretless bass, and I played it on something. So I didn't love about that.
Right. That's right.
He said, so you got a fretless bass? I said, well, I'll tell you, I'm going next week to pick up I found a new one that I'm picking up, and I'm going to go pick it up next week, which was not a lie necessarily. I did go to Corner Music, and I bought a bright yellow Kabiki fretless bass. No lines.
Yeah.
And it's not 34 scale. It's 32 scale.
And no dots on the top of the neck either?
It had dots on the top.
Okay, good.
But I took a pencil and a framing square, and I marked pencil marks and Sharpie on the neck so I could play it somewhat in tune.
Yeah, that's
he
right.
never asked me to play that fret. I played it on 2 songs, and he never asked me to play it ever again. It was, but I played it on the road some too. I played it on the road some. So I had that one, and so I stayed with those pretty much. Yeah. And then later on, it was after I got married in 2000. I had my eye on Mark Fain again. Mark Fain has cost me a lot of money over the years.
Yeah.
So Mark Fain had a 4-string James Tyler bass. James Tyler's a guy out in L.A., builder out there. And there's a L.A. session player. You can Google him. His name's Neil Stubenhaus.
Okay.
And he had the NS signature bass or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was asking around, and I couldn't find one. They're super rare. Yeah. And they were built one at a time. It was on an assembly line bass. And so Mark Fain had a 4-string blue one. And it had a real hot rod preamp on it. And active pickups, like 18-volt active pickups. And so I kept asking, man, if you see one. He said, well, I've got a 5-string. And he had bought a 5-string at Corner Music. It had a chip down in the bottom of it knocked out where somebody dropped it. And so, but you couldn't see it from anywhere except underneath it.
That's right.
So he said, if you want it, I'll sell it to you. But the only thing is, if you ever want to sell it, I get first chance at it. I said, okay. Right. So I went and plopped down a huge pile of money on it. And so this was that bass.
Yes. Okay.
That was it was live in Ohio. And Steve Ladd was singing tenor with us at that time.
Was that First Class?
Yes.
Okay, yes. That live video, yes. Okay.
Live video, First Class. Yeah. So the headstock looks like a shark's head. I mean, it's crazy big. Huh. But it had a bolt-on neck. Uh-huh. And it was a satin finish. Yeah. It was so smooth. And it had a Demeter preamp on it. Let me see if I can. Shoot a monkey. I was wanting to get his close up on that.
That's good stuff. That Demeter, or however you say it, yeah. That's
Yeah,
good
it's got a
stuff, too.
Demeter onboard preamp. It had
Yeah.
a master volume, pickup blend, and master tone on the top. And then there at the bottom, it had a 3-band EQ with toggle switches so you could choose your frequency center.
Ah, gotcha.
It
Okay.
had Bartolini soap bar pickups on it,
Yeah.
but you could switch them out. I mean, you could tap the coil or whatever, I think.
Right.
But it could do everything.
Yeah.
And it was 1 inch longer scale. It wasn't 34 scale, it's a 35 scale.
Ah, okay.
Now Jason Clark
Yep.
got one, but it was an Abraham Laboriel signature.
Yes.
And it was a 34 scale.
Okay. Yeah.
And for whatever reason, people didn't really, I sold it to a guy on consignment.
Yeah.
1 year when I was in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I love about Doug's producing and his approach is he's not afraid to try new things. New things that some people might think are pushing the envelope a little bit. He's willing to try it. You know, if it don't work, then don't do it, but at least try it first. And he's always willing to do that. And that's what I appreciate about him.
I want to talk about Gold City's band. You know, Gold City's been on the road for 25 years. And all throughout those years, they've always had a band. And God has always blessed us with top-notch musicians. They could be playing anywhere. But they love Southern gospel music, and they choose to be here. And, you know, Doug has been playing the drums for Gold City for 15 years. He is the veteran of our group now. He's been here longer than anybody. And he is the anchor of the band. He one of the most complimentary drummer I've ever heard. You know, I've heard groups with drummers, and I'm not knocking anybody, but people, you know, some drummers don't know how to play. They beat the stew out of the drums, and people can't hear the singing over it. Doug plays complimentary. He plays to complement the music. And then along with him, you've got Channing and Adam, two, I mean, top-notch musicians, just great. We're blessed to have a good band, and we appreciate the hard work that they put into our every night. And they work on our albums. They do a great job. We couldn't. I don't like the idea of us not having a band. I hope we never. I hope you guys will stick around with us.
Hey man, I'm here. find the gold. Aren't they great?
And he said folks were just not really into the 35-inch scale for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I got my money back out of it. Mark didn't want. I called him and said, "Hey, I'm selling this bass. You want it?" He said, "No, I don't need it, man. No, just go ahead." He's always been great to me. And
That's
so
right.
we stay in touch a little bit here and there when he's not trotting around the globe. I called him a few years ago, and I was asking him a question about something.
Yeah.
And I said, "I hope I'm not bothering you or interrupting." He said, "No, I'm just sitting in a dressing room." I said, "Okay, where are you?" He said, "Carnegie Hall."
No big deal.
No big deal. He's back there drinking a little green tea.
Yeah.
And he was on tour with Ricky Skaggs and Ry Cooter.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, love Mark. He's a great guy. Anyway, he's helped me a lot over the years.
Oh,
Let me show you one
goodness.
other bass that came along during that time, and I never played it out on the road.
Okay. Yeah.
Joel Key has been my friend since before I was on the road with Gold City.
Okay.
He was playing with Karen Peck when I was with the Singing Ambassadors.
Yes.
So not long after I got on the road with Gold City, I was going to tell you that one modulus bass that Mark played, he sold that to David Owen with Karen Peck, and he still owns that bass.
And I'm friends with him on Facebook. Super nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to reach out to him about that 5-string modulus of his and see if he wants to donate it to his buddy's ministry. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Joel Key, he went on to do session work, and so I would go up and hang out with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to kind of get into that scene when I was later years I was on the road. So I'd go spend a night at him and Amanda's house, and we'd go do a session somewhere, and I'd just hang out, fly on the wall, meet people and stuff like that. So we're leaving his house one morning, and he's walking through this room, going out to his garage. He's got all this gear piled up in there. And so he reaches, there's this real tall gig bag, fat, tall gig bag. It's huge. I could use it as a sleeping bag. And he reached and got it, and he handed it to me. He said, "That's yours." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "That's yours. You need that, and that'll help you." So this is that bass. It's a Carlos Robelli.
Uh-huh.
Now, Carlos Robelli, if you research them, they were a big jazz guitar company and like an Italian guitar company.
Okay.
This is an international built guitar bass.
Goodness.
But I have played this thing literally on hundreds of sessions. Once I got it, Danny was engineering for us before he was singing full time. Yeah. When I got it, he didn't like it. He said, "I just don't like that. It just don't sound right for us live." And I got that.
Yeah.
But I played it. If I took it on a session, there was at least one song that I played this song.
Yeah.
And I put, I've still got them in the case. I put a set of black tape wound labella strings on it.
Really? Oh.
And they stayed on here.
Yeah.
For 20 years.
Uh-huh.
Until about a year or so ago, I had a student that was playing acoustic bass like this. Yeah. And had chrome flat wounds, which is what I've got on it now. I've got chrome flat wounds on it now.
Oh.
So I've got two things going on there. I do the old Victor Wooten trick if I'm playing high up and got some old pieces of kind of sock material there. I get a lot of use out of socks. Yeah. So if I'm playing up, gives a little bit more thud, which is kind of what I'm going for. And then I got some pieces of foam that I sliced.
Yeah.
Fit under the strings. There's
doing
two
the Carol K thing. Yeah.
Yes. And so I can slide that up and affect the tone and the and the decay. If you move it back closer to the bridge.
Right. Big difference. Yeah.
Kind of upright upright light.
Right.
But I've been tempted to put those tape wound strings back on it, just because they matched it so well.
Right. And I've got a Takamine G Series cutaway acoustic bass, and I'm glad you mentioned that because the wheels are turning now. We'll have to go buy me a set of nylon tape wheels now. Get them ordered in, put them on there. Yeah.
Now you mentioned Takamine.
Yeah.
I don't know how long you do your thing, but
no, go ahead. We got plenty of time. Yeah.
I'm currently the caretaker, and I've got to give it back next week, and I'm breaking my heart. But I am the current caretaker of a a bass I have wanted for years.
Yeah.
Years. Takamine built the bass several years ago, and my friends, the AG family, they're good friends of mine. They're from up around Erin, Tennessee, Dayton, Tennessee area, somewhere like that.
Okay. Yeah.
But their family sings, and they're tremendous instrumentalists. Well, they got this guy. Some guy gave them a bunch of instruments. Gave them a mandolin, gave them a Baird, dobro, a Martin guitar, Taylor guitar. Just gave them a bunch of instruments. Their daughter Megan, she plays a Kala bass.
Yep.
Kills it too. She kills it. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
Megan, and so we were talking at a meeting back in December, and said, "Man, this guy gave us this bass, but Megan's is too big and kind of hard to play." And
right.
And they were telling me, I said, "I love those." They said, "Well, we'll bring it in January when we see if you want to borrow it for a while." I said, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
So it is a Takamine.
Yes.
This thing is unreal.
Yeah. I was watching a video on them the other day on that particular model. Yes.
Let me tell you something, man.
Yeah.
This thing is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is absolutely phenomenal.
Goodness.
So I've been using it on a recording.
Yeah.
So you get all that kind of stuff from the direct sound.
Right.
But I've been putting a microphone. I've got a Warm Audio 47 Junior.
Yeah.
And I'm putting a microphone right here, about 6 or 8 inches off of the bridge.
Yeah.
Which is massive. Look, man, it's built like an upright. It's got a big old massive bridge, 2-piece tailpiece. Can't tell if that's striped ebony or rosewood, whatever that is.
Right.
It is just gorgeous.
Goodness.
And so, anyway, it's got its own active preamp system.
That's right.
And I dial everything off but the bass.
Yeah.
It's just bass, tone, and volume.
Yeah.
That's it. But it's got a lot of tone shaping, and it picks up the finger noise. And let me just turn it down. Let me just turn it down here, and just. You can hear all that, and man, it blows. I mean, to hear it recorded.
Yeah.
So I've been using this to record. There's a family group actually down in Cairo, not too far from you. The Averys, the Avery family. The mom and 3 daughters, and they all play. The girls play bass. Reagan plays bass. Olivia plays mandolin, and Ashlyn plays guitar. And they sing harmony. They write their own songs. So I'm doing a little record for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was a couple of songs that they did like keyboard. Olivia plays keyboard. They all do. But they did a couple of songs that was just keyboard, and they wanted me to kind of add stuff on. So,
right.
So this is on their new record.
Yeah.
Avery it sounds, and it's got a little spot there. It's got a big old long brass end pin. You can stand it up.
Stand it up too.
I mean, that just sounds.
Goodness.
It's
just like one.
I mean, I love it. So anyway, I had to show you that, even though it wasn't a Gold City bass.
That is pretty. Yeah, I like that now.
But they are expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course they are.
Hey, let me
yeah.
show you a couple more things. And then-
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
I'll let
yeah.
you get a word in edgewise. I've been
No,
kinda
you fine. Go
talking.
ahead. I promise. You fine.
So
yeah.
when I was traveling,
hmm
when I started with Gold City, I had bought, when I was with the Singing Ambassadors, I bought me a bass rig.
Yep.
That was a Hartke, Hartke. People pronounce it all kind of ways. That's the way I pronounce it, Hartke. It was a Hartke 3500 amp head.
Yep.
Had some tone, volume, and a graphic EQ.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of power. And I bought a 15-inch speaker cabinet.
Yeah.
The aluminum cone. Big
Yes.
silver aluminum cone.
That's what they're known for. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. And so it was all right. I mean, I wouldn't probably go with that now.
Yeah.
But back in that time, in the mid-90s, early mid-90s, everything was real zingy. Not a lot of beefy low end. Everything was like high mid-range, meow, 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 back pickup, jazz, kind of that stuff.
Yeah. That's right.
And that's what you heard a lot of. But anyway, so that died on me a couple of times. Got struck by lightning one time in Huntsville, Alabama.
Mm.
And then my first big trip out with Gold City, I started with them April 5th of 95. And then in May, we did an 18-day trip to the West Coast, Salem, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Vancouver, and then we went across Canada. And we ended up one night, we were in Calgary and Edmonton, Ontario, back to back. And then Calgary, everything went, I lost, it died.
Goodness.
Some kind of power surge or something like that. So me and Doug Riley we found a music store, took a cab to a music store and bought a little Countryman direct box, passive direct box. And that's what I used for a long time with a PV 15-inch floor monitor.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Say what you want to about PV. That speaker is somewhere and it's still working.
Still working. Yeah.
Those things are bulletproof. So anyhow, I got me a new rig. I went and bought me a new rig. And so my new rig was the Demeter, Demeter. Looks like Demeter.
Yep.
Not Demeter. That's what you eat with mayonnaise and salt and pepper on white bread.
Yes, sir.
Demeter. This was a Demeter.
Yeah.
Tube preamp, the VTB 1, I think is what it was. Beautiful. Beautiful tone, beautiful sound. It had that tube circuitry in it. And 3 knobs, 3-tone knobs and a master volume. That was it. And it was fantastic. And I had that, and I had a Crown power amp and a SWR 210 cabinet.
Okay. Yeah.
And I played that rig, and it was bulletproof, man. It was so good. And I played that rig until we got in-ear monitors.
Yeah.
And we used Shure E5s. Now, when we went to that, I'm going to show you one more thing. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah.
So I still had that Countryman DI, and I had bought this. This is a SWR amplification. SWR was the initials of a guy named Steve Rabe, R-A-B-E. And he was the original SWR guy. All those original Redhead amps and the Baby Blue.
Yep.
And all that original stuff, Gibson bought them.
Okay. Yeah.
And so just like everything else Gibson buys out, it died. Anyhow, that's my soapbox on that. So when he had a non-compete, and when he went back, he never built full-blown amps before, but he started building little components. This is a battery powered. It's the PHA-1.
Oh.
And you can find these on like Reverb.
Yeah.
And this thing, I've had this thing since Abby is 22 years old. This is probably 23, 24 years old.
Yeah. Okay.
It takes 2 9-volt batteries.
Yeah.
It had a headphone jack. You could do stereo or mono mix in. All kind of outputs, and it had a high and low input.
Yep.
And a 3-band EQ. Now, here's the thing. You could put a CD player into it and play along. That EQ section is the EQ of the old SWR amps.
Really? Oh.
that thing sounds incredible.
Oh,
So I've used it sort of as a DI, but it doesn't have an XLR out on it.
yeah.
So I went and bought this. The old Countryman, I don't know what happened to it, but I just didn't like it. Something happened. We were playing the Ryman Auditorium me and Channing went to Corner Music. We took a cab, and I went and bought this. Old JD, the guy who was the bass guy at Corner Music for all these years, had a big old long mustache, looked like a Civil War general, weighed about 100 pounds.
Yeah.
So he said, "This is what you need, Doc. This is what you need." So this is a Jensen JDI passive direct box. That's how long I've had that joker.
A long time, yeah.
Butch Cheney 04.
Yeah.
So I've had this thing over 20 years.
I've got one of those the other day in a trade, but it's active though. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is the passive.
Yeah.
But if you've got phantom power, you can run phantom power to it and make it active.
Okay, gotcha.
It's just got it's simple DI ground lift, and it's got some different options there on the input and output and all through and whatnot. You can pad it, you can merge it, you can do a fill. I don't know.
Oh.
Okay. That DI, when we lived in Tennessee, our church flooded, and this was underwater.
It still works.
I took it home, I let it dry out.
Yeah.
A few months later, I had a gig I had to do, and I thought, I'm going to try it out. It still works.
Goodness.
It was sitting underwater on a flooded stage.
Yeah.
It still works.
Man.
I mean, here's the thing. And then it was expensive. I think I paid like over $200 for this DI 24 years ago. That's a lot.
Uh-huh.
But some of this stuff, you just got to pay the money and pay for quality if you want it to last a long time.
That's true.
Everything I've got like that, I still use. When I go out with the Old Time Preachers Quartet, this is my rig.
That's right.
See?
You're going to test durability now, yeah.
I go into there, it comes out, goes into the DI goes to the house.
Yeah.
And then the other through goes to my amp, which I'll show you.
Oh.
If I can do this. My amp is a SWR. It's a later generation SWR, little 12-inch speaker.
Okay.
So, and I love that thing.
Yeah.
12-inch speakers are the perfect speakers for bass guitar.
That's right.
I said it. I stand by it.
That's right.
So anyway, that pretty much. Oh, one more thing. You ready for one more thing? This is the last thing.
Yeah. Go ahead. No.
You see these patch cables right here?
Uh-huh.
I bought all these patch cables when I was on the road with Gold City.
Yeah.
I bought this one at a Mars Music store. Some people may remember Mars Music stores. That patch cable is 25 years old, and it still works. And I got these around that same time. Those are Horizon patch cables, and they still work.
Gracious.
It's amazing. If you take care of your stuff, it's amazing how long it'll last.
Yeah.
So, that's
exactly right. Yeah.
Anyway, so
that is neat.
That is all I have to say about it.
Oh, that's good stuff right there, man.
I'm sorry, I hadn't even let you ask me any questions.
No, hey, you've answered them all. You've answered them all. And it's been good. Yeah, I appreciate you. Yeah, that's right. Well, Adam, tell us your website for your bass lessons. You're still doing bass lessons, correct?
I am. It's been kind of a lull time for me. I had to kind of take a little break, and my students took a break and all that kind of stuff. I took down basstimeonline.com.
Okay. Yeah.
It was just costing a lot of money.
Right.
And just not getting enough return. So everything is living now on evangelistadamborden.com.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's a tab. There's a page on there on my ministry website on evangelistadamborden.com. There's a Bass Time Online tab on there. You can contact me about private lessons. I'm in the pre-production stage. I've gotten some things. I've bought some gear and stuff to do some more video lessons.
Yes.
And I've I've been gone so much. I was gone with travel days included. I was probably gone 220 days last year.
Goodness. Yeah.
And it's just hard to find time to sit down and do those videos.
That's true.
To record them and then edit it all. because
Yep.
I'm a one-man show. We're working on a
That's
zero budget here, my buddy.
And then also the hotel hymns. Is that going to be something you're going to do as a CD or streaming or?
Yes, I am that. I'm deep into the recording on that.
Yes,
got a lot
good.
of tracks, and I've got a few more I want to do. Try to call some and do some a little at a time.
Good.
Basically, got to do my singing parts on them.
Yes. Okay. Good.
And I've recorded some of the guitar parts in hotel rooms.
Yep, that's right.
Can't do that everywhere because of noise and stuff like that. But
That's right.
But those videos,
Yeah.
people started asking about that, so
Yeah.
I started getting serious about recording those. So
That's right.
it's kind of on the back burner right now till I get the Avery Family record done.
Yeah.
But I'm real close on getting that finished up. So
Good deal.
yes, that'll be. I will see how that goes. Probably have them to order.
Yep.
I'm not going to put them on the streaming services.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I'll have it on my website.
Okay. Good.
People can download them there.
Yeah.
Download them there, and then I may do some flash drives and CDs, just seeing what people say.
Good deal.
So
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm working on that too.
Yeah, you get that done. I'll definitely be on your website getting that for sure.
Great.
For sure. Oh, goodness. Adam, I appreciate you, sir. Y'all, this has been episode 12 of Behind the Music podcast with our special guest, Mr. Adam Borden, legendary bass guitarist and also awesome guitarist as well, too. Great preacher. Him and his family do a great job of ministry, preaching and singing at revivals and services and stuff.
You have been listening to Behind the Music podcast with your host, Josh Griffin. Tune in next time, and until then, please rate and share this podcast.